Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us on another segment of Ask a Young Alum. With us, we have Catherine Bernardoni. She is a professional recruiter, and she's going to be talking to us a little bit about her experiences while she was in FIU and also what she's up to now. So, Catherine, thanks for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Amanda. I'm excited.
Me too. So, first, tell us a little bit about yourself and what is it that you're currently doing within your career?
Absolutely. So I am born and raised in South Florida, so true Floridian, and I graduated from FIU in 2012. Feels like a lifetime ago, but all the same, it doesn't. And professionally, I'm a recruiter. So I have been focusing for the last 8 years on the South Florida market, helping candidates and employers when they're looking to build their teams or candidates that are looking for new opportunities, within their professional career. Right now, I'm focusing on accounting and finance. And like I mentioned, I'm able to support the Tri-County area. So love South Florida, and I love, putting people to work and just helping our business community grow.
Awesome. Thank you. And your network, how has your network assisted you in opportunities outside of college after FIU?
Yeah, so I mean, I was really lucky, I think, to have a really positive experience at FIU. I was involved in so much. And when I think about just how I even landed in my career and how I figured out what I like to do and what was meant for me, I think the experiences that I had being in lead team, being in RA, Relay for Life, being in a sorority, all of that stuff, and the people that I met, professionals, students, colleagues, I think really allowed me to leverage those relationships now. There's so many people that I work with that I graduated with or that are, former FIU alum. So just that network alone has been great. And now as a professional woman, I'm also involved in Junior League, which is awesome here in Fort Lauderdale. And I still do a lot of, work for organizations that I was a part of before. So I think just being able to leverage those relationships and work with people that know me, that I know, as well has really helped me in my career for sure.
It's great. So, in that, how has your alumni experience been so far?
So as an alum, I really have enjoyed going back to FIU. So for example, I know 2020 was such a unique year with COVID and not having a lot of opportunities to meet people in person or be in person. But the last FIU Panther Alumni Week, I actually had gone and I had a chance to speak to a few SLS classes. And that was a really neat experience. I was speaking to international students and being able to kind of just relive my experience at FIU was really neat. I remember I walked around campus, and it is by far just so much bigger and has so many things that I wish would have been there when I was in undergrad. Pollo is no longer the only place that people want to eat, which is really cool. But going there, I remember going to the bookstore, I picked up like a sweater, a mug. I have a colleague at work that's also an FIU alum, and I brought him like a pen, and I'm like, dude, FIU has just blown up. There's so much great stuff happening. And just speaking to the professors too. So although I haven't done a ton, just going back to that week alone was really great. It made me feel reconnected to the university and just make me feel so proud of how far along FIU has come and just the university and what we're doing for the community as well.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. They've really stepped it up. And I mean, years can go by, but here we are now together speaking of our experiences. And I myself, I'm a proud FIU alum. While you were in college, in school, were you exploratory or undecided when you were in college, or did you maybe change your major at all, or did you always know like this is what I want?
I did not always know this is what I wanted. I think when I started school, I started FIU in 2008, and I feel like at that time PR was just such a cool thing. Everybody was going to school to be a PR major, so that's initially what I wanted to do. The reality is that although, when I went and I got my master's and stuff, I was then a very good student. I struggled really being a fantastic student in undergrad, truthfully. So back then it was really hard to get into the School of Mass Communication and Journalism, and I just realized it wasn't going to work for me. That was not the direction I was going to be able to go. But luckily, through some of the things that I was involved in, like I mentioned, I was in a sorority, and there was so much philanthropy work that we did there, which was really impactful. Being in RA, being in lead team, Relay for Life, just all these things, I kind of realized there's other majors that I could kind of focus on that would allow me to still be out there, problem solve, help others that maybe weren't PR. And that's how I landed in public administration. So I had a really, really great experience. I know we have an awesome public admin, degree there, and even the MPA program. So I learned a ton from graduating, with that degree. But I did not know, absolutely not right away, what I wanted to do or study.
Happens to the best of us. No, but I could see how PR goes hand in hand with what you do now. Everything falls into place eventually.
Totally. It really does.
Yeah. And I'm sure you've touched up on this already a bit, but do you feel like your skills and hobbies and values align with your current career?
Yeah, totally. And honestly, I don't think I would have ever found recruiting professionally if it wasn't for my experiences at FIU. Like I mentioned, being in a sorority, I naturally always gravitated towards recruitment. I had no idea that this was something that people actually focused on and made like a full-time career. I think if I would have known that as a freshman, I probably would have said, sign me up for a degree in HR and let me go the talent management route right away. But through that, and then honestly, being an RA was so life-changing for me. I remember my junior year when I became an RA, you have, I think then there were 10 rooms, so I had 40 students that I managed. And as an RA, you do everything from programming to, safety checks, counseling, just the full gamut. And I kind of realized, I was like, wow, I'm essentially, if you look at it the way that I did at that time, I was like, I'm kind of running my own little business, right? Or my own little department, making sure that everybody's aligned, everybody's doing what they need to be doing. I had certain goals that I had to meet as an RA. And that's when I realized, okay, I can tie in my passion for people, my passion for helping others with just my skill set of building relationships and recruitment. Like I'm just naturally a very strategic, problem solving type of individual where I'm able to see somebody and instantly say, okay, they have these skills, they would match well here, do that. And being an RA, realized, okay, I should go the HR route. At that point, I was already, very close to, I was, mid junior year, so I wasn't going to pivot again.
Mm-hmm.
But the public administration degree is great because essentially it's focused on government and nonprofit work, but how to manage that. So it's very similar to a business degree, and then just going and getting my master's in HR perfectly, I think tailored all of that. But in terms of skill set and values, I think a lot of what I learned, it's interesting. I now work for a company that's strengths based, right? Which we do strengths finders. The first time I ever did strengths finders was in 2009, thanks to lead team. And I remember her name's Dr. Beverly. She was in charge then of the Center for Leadership and Service. And learning from her strengths finder, I just and I'm so grateful for all the experiences. I think very early on, I was able to identify what I enjoyed to do, my strengths, and kind of build on those. And I wouldn't have had those experiences, I think, if I would have gone to another school or, not been as involved as I was while in undergrad, truthfully.
I'm going to have to talk to you after this interview so you can give me some pointers.
Oh my gosh, no, but honestly, it's I think you and I were talking about this earlier. I think it's so interesting how the older you get, the more you reflect, and you're just like, wow, I stayed true to who I was. I was involved in things that I was passionate about, I was really interested in, and it all really just helps you get to where you need to be or where you want to be, and it's all compounded, right? So I'm so grateful for my experience at FIU. Like I tell everybody all the time, like I'm very proud for graduating from there and everything that I was able to do while I was there.
I see it and I feel it. What obstacles have you faced in getting to this point in your career, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, so I mean, I think being a young alum, I don't know about you, but one of the biggest things that I faced is people looking at me and saying you're too young, right? Like, what do you know? My first job with a staffing firm, it was legal. So I did legal, I did attorney placements for document review, and we kind of did our own e-discovery management in the office. And I'll never forget my first interview with somebody in my office. He looks at me and he goes, "How old are you? 15? You know, you could be my daughter. Like, why are you interviewing me? You know, this is crazy." And early on, I just realized that it's no, you can't change the way you look. You can't change if you look young. You can't change that you're young, right? But you can, I think, just own it and realize that, at least for me, how to combat that is being professional and having your work product and your work ethic speak for you. So I've been really lucky to have found a profession that I'm naturally just really passionate about and I'm really excited about. And I think doing something that I'm interested in allows then for a better work product, right? And just knowing that I have to remain professional and lead by example. And if I want somebody to take me seriously, I have to take myself seriously.
Yes.
And that's really how I've combated that. And I think now, you know, eventually you end up building a brand for yourself. And I'm happy to see that there's kind of a movement now more than ever where there is a lot of empowering of young adults to, you know, step into the things that they love to do and really become a subject matter expert in the things that they're passionate about. You and I spoke, you know, before this about just continuous learning and really making sure that you're elevating yourself. And I think you do that when you're aligned with things that you're passionate about and truthfully being really interested and continuously interested in learning and elevating your game and what you do, I think also builds a brand, you know, and gains respect. So it was hard at first, but you know, instead of my college nickname was Burn, so instead of, you know, having people call me Burn, you know, I always introduce myself as Catherine now, just like little things like that too have helped. But I would like to think it's my professionalism and work ethic that really helped me kind of combat that.
Yes. And I've seen it through the years. And
Oh, thank you. The evolution, right? Yeah.
yes. So with that, I'm going to ask, is there any piece of advice that you would like to leave us?
Yeah. So I think the best advice that I could give somebody, you know, that's starting their career, is just graduating or is kind of nervous about like what's next. Um, we all don't have the answers. You know, I remember you and I were talking about this before too. Like when I graduated, I was like, when do I feel like a woman, like an adult, like I've made it, you know? Because I had in my mind, yeah, exactly, this
Yeah.
timeline, this checklist. And when I graduated in 2012, you know, we were kind of getting out of a recession. So it's not like the job market was great. You know, it was definitely difficult to find work then. And what I realized was, you know, someone gave me advice a long time ago, and this is kind of something that I've lived through, is just being true to yourself. And, you know, there's no one that is going to live your life but yourself. You have to be at peace with the decisions that you make, and you have to make it happen for yourself. So I think as long as you follow your gut and your heart and you work hard, right? There's no such thing as luck. It really does take hard work. I think
Mhm.
that, you know, anything is, you're capable of really doing anything. And even now, recently, you know, going into my early 30s, I recently launched a YouTube channel and a website where I have like a blog and all this. And I was terrified when I tell you that I was thinking of doing this for over a year and a half. I was so scared of putting myself out there and just having people critique me and, you know, just being vulnerable, truthfully. But I realized that I have a passion for what I do, and I naturally always, given my profession, give advice, and I want to be able to do that on a larger platform. So why not, right? Like, why not just be true to myself, have my own voice, and, you know, whether it turns into something really big or it doesn't, at least I'm doing something that felt really right for me now. So it's something that I'm continuously trying to also gut check myself and make sure I live by. But that's the best advice I'd give somebody.
Thank you for that. Thank you. And I'm so happy. It's good to hear that you finally went for it and you created your own YouTube channel. You have a lot to share and a lot, there's a lot that we could learn from you. So thank you. And I wish you the best of luck in that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and the opportunity to speak with you.
Likewise. Well, if anyone has a question for Catherine, you could drop them on the comments below under this post. And well, again, Catherine, thank you. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Bye, guys.